They're everywhere. No, not boats, because actually how you get those on land, Lord alone knows. I suppose they could be pulled behind a lorry. I mean Ubers. So you've got Uber Eats, you've got the Uber taxis, you've got Uber this, you've got Uber that, and welcome to the Uber Thames Clipper. And have we got a trip for you today? Are you ready? Stick with us. Here we go. Have we got a trip for you? And we're going to take you back through history as we take you through central London, up the Thames, and we're starting here today at Canary Wharf. Our journey today is going to take in some fantastic scenery. So we go from Canary Wharf Pier all the way to Embankment, and we go that way up the Thames. Right, I want to help you get the best views possible from this trip. So I started off at the back and realised I got a fantastic view of where I'd been. Yeah, not great for looking forward because you can't sit at the front of the Clippers. So this is the view as we left Canary Wharf. And then by going inside and grabbing the chairs at the front, you start to get beautiful views like this as the boat comes into view of amazing historical places right by the side of the Thames. Right, position sorted, let's show you some great things. So you can see the Shard there quite clearly, and coming up on the left hand side is Butler's Wharf, which we have got coming up in another video very soon on this channel. Great thing about this shot as well is I'm right by the glass inside the cabin, so actually if it's rainy, if it's windy or whatever, it's not a problem, but you still get some fantastic views. How about this as a classic view as we approach Tower Bridge? Globally famous. I'm going to link a video up in the top right hand corner when we did a tour of Tower Bridge going inside. So if you'd like to see that, then do click on the link on the top right hand corner. On the right hand side here you have St Catherine's Dock, and that building that overlooks Tower Bridge is the Tower Hotel. Butler's Wharf is a fantastic little bit of London right by Tower Bridge, and these buildings you'll look at are all apartment blocks. For a river view and a view of Tower of London, just go and search on Google and see how much one of these apartments cost. A clue? It's not cheap. The other great thing about Butler's Wharf is there's loads and loads of cafes and restaurants. Now here we're approaching Tower Bridge and we're going to go through on the right hand side, so we're not going through the middle, but when it's a low tide you do tend to go through the middle. But as we go through, you'll see on the right hand side, once we've gone under, you'll see the Tower of London. The building you can see in the background, the tall building, is known locally as the Walkie Talkie. It's at 20 Fenchurch Street, but this is also home to London's Sky Garden up on the 35th floor. The views over London are spectacular, but you've got to book in advance and it is free to get up there. Who says you can't do stuff in London for free? And how about this as a riverside view of the Tower of London? How about this as a spectacular view of the Tower of London? And how about that? That's Traitor's Gate, all bricked up. The thing I love about this boat service is it's a hop-on, hop-off service, so you can use your contactless card to pay for the part of the journey that you're doing. And also there are boats about every half an hour going in each direction. Here, we're at Tower Millennium Pier, and just over the water, yes, that's HMS Belfast. Now, some of the stops are incredibly close, and we're going to the next one, which is literally just over the other side, which is London Bridge City. But you go extremely close to HMS Belfast. So if you want to see that, make sure you are on the left-hand side of the ship. And also you get a fantastic view of the Shard as well. And this shows you how close you get and what a wonderful view you can have. So here we're pulling into London Bridge City Pier, and the bridge you can see right in front of you, which we're now heading towards, is London Bridge. This is London Bridge, built in the 1970s. If you want to work out the position of the original Roman bridge from 55 AD, then about 100 metres before you get to it, look to the right and you'll see a church, and that's where the bridge went across, exactly in line with that church. But it's about 100 metres or so before you get to London Bridge, which we're just about to go under. As you can see, if you get your position right, you get some amazing views of London from the Thames. It's also worth noting that you can take official river trips on the Thames, but these tend to be quite expensive. So once again, it's another great way of doing it on a budget. As you can see, the next bridge takes trains, and these trains are going in and out of Cannon Street Station. The station is one of those strange ones because the station is on the north bank of the Thames, but it doesn't go any further than the station itself. So all trains have to go back over the bridge, over the Thames, and out to the south. The next bridge you can see ahead with the light green colouring is Southwark Bridge, and there's a reason why this is such an important bridge for the launch of this video. This video goes live on our channel on the 6th of June 2021, exactly to the day 100 years after the bridge was opened for first use. Yes, the 6th of June 1921. Happy birthday, dear Southwark Bridge. Oh yeah, you know what I mean. Anyway, right, so we go under here, and then, we've got some cracking bridges still to come and some wonderful views as well. The next pier stop is now coming up on the left-hand side, which is Bankside Pier. Now here you can get off and you can go to Shakespeare's Globe, and we'll show you that in just one second, but also the Tate Modern Gallery as well. Also, if you're thinking of visiting St Paul's, this is the ideal place to get off, because then you can walk over the bridge, which we'll show you in a second, which is the Millennium Bridge, and that's a pedestrian bridge. Right, so just behind the Uber boat there, you can see Shakespeare's Globe Theatre with the thatched roofing. If you've never been to London before, that thing with the big chimney, yes, that's the Tate Modern. Used to be a massive power station, but was converted into the Tate Modern Gallery. And that is massive inside, with all sorts of different studios and exhibitions open. Now on this part of the trip, all the passengers will look at you as if you're a loony, because if you run over to the right-hand side, you can see this wonderful shot of St Paul's Cathedral. This is London's only pedestrian bridge going across, and is the Millennium Bridge. Of course, built for 2020. The story of the Millennium Bridge is well known with its wobbly structure, but it's a fantastic place and wonderful to get from the south bank to the north bank, because as you walk across, you get amazing views of St Paul's Cathedral. Now, if you really want to push the boat out and treat someone special, this is a boat trip that takes you up and down the Thames, but it's a restaurant boat trip. So as you can see in there, lots and lots of tables laid out so you can see the wonderful London history and also all the sights whilst having a meal at the same time. This is also another one of those funny stops where literally you've gone from Bankside on one side of the river to the next pier, which is Blackfriars, which is now coming up on the right-hand side. So the boat literally goes from one side of the Thames to the other. The next bridge you've got coming up is another railway bridge, and that takes the trains into London Blackfriars, which is part of the Thameslink service as well, where you can actually go from the north of England to the south of England, and you go over this bridge to take the journey. The next bridge you can see coming up, the light red bridge, is Blackfriars Bridge, taking the traffic across. Now Blackfriars Bridge was moved, and in a second I'm going to swing around and show you the pillars that they left up, which became part of the railway bridge. And I'll put a link to a video where we cover that in the top right hand corner. The next bridge we have coming up is Waterloo Bridge, but as you can see that's some distance off from here at Blackfriars. So let's tell you about some of the things that you can see at the side, which we've covered in other videos. Now on the north bank, which is to your right, you have the Embankment. You've got Embankment Gardens, and there's lots of different gardens down there which you can go and enjoy. On the south bank there's an amazing walk. If I really want to get away from it all but take in London, then I love walking from London Bridge all the way to Waterloo Bridge, and it takes in some fantastic scenes. The walk takes you under many of the bridges that we've gone under already, but also if you walk alongside, you go underneath the Oxo Tower, and also one of our favourite places on the South Bank, which is at Gabriel's Wharf, which you can see here. And when the tide is out, which you can also see, there's amazing beaches you can get down onto at the side of the Thames. That's the old London Weekend Television Tower, with the London Eye at Westminster just behind it. On the north bank, if you fancy getting away from it, you've got the Embankment Road, which runs all the way from Blackfriars down to the Houses of Parliament. But just over the other side of that road, you have a number of different gardens, and they are beautiful in the summer. All of them have some great benches where you can sit and watch the world go by, and a number of them also have different cafes where you can get food as well. In these parks you can really get away from it all, and sometimes it's really hard to imagine you are in the centre of London. So we've got Waterloo Bridge that's coming up here, and just on the right, just onto the right of the bridge, you can see a tall white building. That is the back of the Savoy Hotel. The first version of Waterloo Bridge opened in June 1817, about 204 years ago. That bridge was rebuilt and reopened in 1942, and that's the version of the bridge we're looking at today. Right, here's a London visited tip for you. Because of its location at a bend in the river, the views from the bridge of Westminster going further down, and the South Bank, and the London Eye to the west, and the City of London and Canary Wharf to the east are widely held to be the finest from any spot in London at ground level. So get up there and get some amazing views. The pillar that you can see above the white boat is Cleopatra's Needle. We have a video on that one on our channel, so look that one up. And now we're heading towards Embankment Pier, which is directly in front of you. The bridge that you can see is known as the Golden Jubilee Bridge and Hungerford Bridge. So it takes the trains in and out of Charing Cross Station, but on each side you have pedestrian walkways that go across the bridge. If you go to the one on the other side of the bridge looking towards Westminster, then the view during sunset is absolutely incredible, and it's one you'll certainly want to take your camera with. And we've also got a video on that one on our channel, and I'll put a link to that on the top right hand corner for you. Now, whilst we're getting off here at Embankment, and there's all sorts of rail links, and there's a quick walk as well to Trafalgar Square, so you're right in the centre of the West End. The next two piers are the London Millennium Eye, so yes, right underneath the massive wheel, and then Westminster. And again, they're on different sides of the water, so you get a really good view of the Houses of Parliament, as well as the Westminster City Hall as well. Now, if you want a professional tour, you can get those going up and down the river, but of course you'll pay for those. If you want to do it and then have a look and get a guidebook or use this video and point out all the different places, then this is your ideal way to do it. But also you can do it as many times as you like, because it's like a bus service up and down the river. I really hope you've enjoyed our trip up from Canary Wharf all the way to Embankment. And as you can see here, there's the Big Ben just by the Houses of Parliament. If you enjoyed our trip up the Thames and fancy seeing some other historic things in London, then I'll put a playlist for you up in the top right hand corner.